Absolutely not.
So Muslims don't believe Jesus died on the cross, don't believe he rose from the dead, don't believe he claimed to be divine. So we have a conflict here, right? And so as a Christian, you're commanded to share the gospel, and Muslims don't believe that, and so there's going to be disagreement there. So when you tell a Muslim, hey, my Muslim friend, I've got my Bible here, my Bible says Jesus claimed to be divine, he died on the cross for sins, he rose from the dead, like clockwork, what's the response going to be?
Your book is corrupted, my friend.
Our book has been corrupted. The Bible has been corrupted. And it makes sense why a Muslim would say that. The Bible and the Quran disagree. They agree on certain things, don't get me wrong, and it's very important to point out when Christians and Muslims do agree on things. Christians and Muslims agree that Jesus was born of a virgin. We agree that Jesus performed miracles. We agree that Jesus is the Messiah. We agree that God exists, that God created the world. We agree on all kinds of things, so it's not like we disagree on everything. But when we get down to the core of the gospel, the core of the message that Christians want to share with others, we find Islam teaches the exact opposite on these things. And so if you're a Muslim, you believe that the gospel was originally inspired, an inspired message. You have to believe that, because this isn't, if I talk to an atheist or something like that and I tell him about Jesus, the atheist can say, I don't care about Jesus, I don't believe in him. But Muslims aren't allowed to say that. So Muslims have certain things that their religion requires them to believe, and one of the things they have to believe in, they have to believe Jesus was a messenger of God. So, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Muslims will say the gospel's been corrupted, right? You know this. We've heard this, thousands of times.
Yeah.
Now, is that the impression you would get from the Quran? Would a Muslim ever get this impression from the Quran? If a Muslim opens up his Quran, reads it from beginning to end, is he going to walk away from that thinking, wow, the book that those Christians have, that is one messed up, weird book?
I just wanted to make one comment. When you said that, what would the Muslims say about our Gospels? They said it was corrupt, huh? You said it with such passion and conviction, you convinced me. No. As a side note, if someone were to read the Quran and try to be as objective in the reading of the Quran, which is hard because every one of us approach a text with presuppositions. But if someone were just to allow the Quran to speak within its own context, the last thing that they would conclude is that the author of the Quran or the authors of the Quran assumed that the biblical revelation was tampered with, because you find a plethora of passages confirming the veracity, the authenticity, and the authority of the scriptures in the possession of the Jews and Christians.
Now, the New Testament clearly states that it is preferable for men to castrate themselves, become eunuchs, Matthew 19:12. It also states that true Christians can drink poison, Mark chapter 16, and not be harmed. Finally, it states that women must pray with their heads covered, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and that a woman speaking in church is shameful, 1 Corinthians chapter 14. My question is, why don't the vast majority of Christians follow these rules? And if they do, I would like, Mr. Wood, I have a vial of whiteout, liquid paper, highly toxic. I would like Mr. Wood to swig this bottle of whiteout. If he does not do it, then he does not agree that this is the Word of God, because he's a Christian, and Jesus says, according to the Gospel of Mark chapter 16, that he can drink poison and survive. If he does not do it, then he is admitting this is not the Word of God. If he does do it and he survives, I am willing to become a Christian tonight.
Did you say a bottle of whiteout? I might do that for you. I wrote down poison and women in churches. There was something else.
Men have to become eunuchs. It's preferable for men to become eunuchs. Christians can eat poison. A woman must pray with her head covered, according to 1 Corinthians 11. A woman speaking in church is shameful, according to 1 Corinthians 14.
As far as the mark, that comes from the end of Mark, which practically every scholar, every Bible scholar in the world says was not authentic, that this was a later addition. And so that's not in the early source material. As far as our earliest records don't have that part about the poison.